Ladies and gentlemen, it's live, and it's a Saturday night on the Chrissy Ann Show. On tonight's panel, Nick is somewhere playing drums, and deep within a dungeon is Mother Menace. Unbelievable, Chrissy Ann. But all that doesn't matter because this is a Saturday, and it's just, I don't know, a Saturday. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the Chrissy Ann Show.
Well, hello, YouTube. Hello, chat room. Hello, family. How are you today? I hope you're doing swell. It's Saturday night, and it's time to relax. I hope you have a beer and sitting in your cozy chair and ready to rumble. I don't know what word I was going to say. I just totally screwed that up. It was going really good, and I just screwed it up.
It's all right. That's all right. We're all a bunch of screw-ups anyways.
I was trying to say party and rumble at the same time.
Try and say party and rumble at the same time again. Try and do it. Prumble. That's it. All right, everyone. I want everyone to understand we just came up with a new word. We own it.
Yes, look us up at prumble.com.
So it's going to be in a thesaurus near you,
and our pictures will be in there. Yeah, and you're missing us. You just like, oh, I need the thesaurus. I can't even say thesaurus tonight. I need a drink. Maybe I speak better.
It's a dinosaur. They found a thesaurus. I think it was like 1970 somewhere in Montana. And then they realized, like, they dug it up and they're like, man, what is this? And they found all these tablets and stuff with all these weird words and everything. They're like, what's going on here? So anyways, that's where a thesaurus came from. And it's true. That's not made up. It's not made up at all.
You know what my second favorite book ever is? It the thesaurus? I can't even say. It's a thesaurus. Thesaurus.
Just say the dinosaur book with weird words that you can never pronounce.
So if I ever botch your name, just know it's because I'm not very well with the enunciations. So
man, you better get a PBR here in a minute.
History B is asking trick questions in here. How do you pluralize thesaurus? Thesaurusi? Thesauruses?
Yeah, it's gonna be
a good question. I want to figure that one out. Tooth thesaurus.
The English. If you think about it, the English language, and I have dyslexia, and I'm better at it now than I was when I was young. When I was young, I was like, "What's wrong with me, man?" Because I'm like, I can't numbers and words and everything's turning backwards. But anyways, the English language is full of mistakes. Have you noticed that? It can't just be me. It's full of mistakes.
Well, what are the biggest thing? Like for me as a kid, like I'm an artist. That's just me. And I became a nurse. I joke around. I say I became a nurse because I didn't know how to spell. Because if you don't know how to spell something, you just write it really crappy, and then people will figure out what you're trying to say. So it doesn't look like you spelled it wrong. You just write it really sloppy. It works, right? No, but like you got to think about it. There, and there. That's totally screwed me up for years.
Is our stream live? Is it?
Yeah, we've got Steve in here. We got Warhorse, History B.
Is the
DM?
Is it image live? Because mine is just spinning. It's not doing anything.
Yeah, Abigail. Hey, just let you know, Disabled Vet is in here. So you guys just be careful. Like he's a cotton picking ninny muggins. Just let you know. But we love him.
What is going on with this thing?
Uh-oh.
I don't know. Something's on my end. It's all bizarre. Anyways, yeah, the English. It may be just me, but my internet or something. But anyways, the English language is full of mistakes. It's got to be because think about. I'm like, that's the silent Y, and that's this and that. I'm like, why is it even in there? Or, you know what I mean? It's almost like there was mistakes and they had to like correct the mistakes along the way. Like, oh, we'll just put a silent Y in there. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah. And then my parents didn't help by spelling my name wrong. I mean, I never once have ever found anything that has my name spelled on it. You go to like all those like I used to go to Knott's Berry Farm and I wanted a mug or a pin with my name on it.
Mm-hmm.
Never.
Oh yeah, right.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. So, it seems that the president, Colt 45, I call him Colt 45.
Ooh, I like that.
It seems like he's doing. Well, let me put it this way: he has the guts. Finally, someone has the guts to go to another country, other leaders, and say, "Listen, these bad deals are no longer. I'm sorry." Now, anybody in the chat room who has a business or wants to start a business, has been in business forever, and there's some sort of contract between parties or something, now you make damn sure that the contract is fair between both parties. It's not some one-sided deal and you're like, oh, that's fine. You get everything and we get screwed over. Oh, that's perfectly fine. I'm fine with that. Yeah. Nobody would do that. Nobody in Congress, nobody in DC would ever sign a bad deal. Nobody would do it.
Mm.
But for some reason, because our president is trying to make these bad deals right, he's orange man bad with a swastika on his forehead.
Ugh. Well, you know what? And here's the thing. He's got cojones. Sorry to be so graphic with y'all, but it's the truth. He's got cojones. He's standing up. He's not a politician. And I think that's why he's doing so well. He can't buy him. He's you can't dangle a carrot from him because he's got a bunch of carrots in his bank account. And I think that's the problem, is that he doesn't fit in. He's always seen the problem. We were just talking about this before we went live, is like he's always seen the problem for many years, and he's been a huge criticizer of the government. And it's so funny that all of these Democrats who hated him were sucking up to him before he ran for office. I mean, all these people like, Kathy Guilford or Griffin or whatever her name is.
Well, I mean, Mitt Romney, wanted his endorsement, and so many of what needed money, he donated to their campaigns. Mm-hmm. So yeah.
Well, and here's the thing. It's gotten to the point, I mean, after this Mueller investigation and all of this stuff has come to surface, like CNN has actually, they have taken a 20% hit in viewers. That is like, and so they're not going to let go of that Mueller agenda, that Mueller, dialogue. They're just not going to let go of that, because they're going to manipulate it and twist it and do whatever they can. Because I don't know if you've been paying attention to the Democrats. They are petrified. They are doing anything and everything to undermine our democracy, to undermine our liberties, to undermine our laws, especially. For example, that they want to make this 16-year-olds be able to vote. They want to make illegal big aliens to vote. And right now, there's a bill 287. I'll get that bill for you, and I'll probably talk about it tomorrow or Monday. But this particular bill is a bill that other states are trying to incorporate. And basically, they will not put Trump on the ballot unless he divulges his tax information, which is a total violation against our democracy. And they are going to do anything they can, because here's the deal. There has always been rumors since he's become into office that he was going to arrest Hillary. But as he progressed after his inauguration, and he's progressed in his presidency, that the amount of people that was going to be arrested has grown drastically. There's rumors of 60,000 people to be indicted. Since his presidency, they have dumped over $500 million into Guantanamo Bay. They've actually secured another island to put another temporary housing detention center for 30,000 people. And so if you look at the indictments versus the amount of housing at Guantanamo Bay, and if you, these are just all puzzle pieces I'm trying to put together, y'all. I don't know anything secret or anything like that. But so one of the other things was Kavanaugh. If you paid attention to the Kavanaugh judicial hearing and you heard what Lindsey Graham had said, he was asking about military tribunals. So everybody's all up in arms because Hillary's not arrested. Hillary's not arrested. Why is it taking so long? Why is it taking so long? Well, here's the problem. A lot of the crimes, so Obama, so when a presidency is over, they give their records all to a department that, you know, houses their records and basically memorializes them and catalogs them and all that kind of stuff. Obama won't turn any over his records. And a lot of these crimes that had been committed during his term, he pardoned them. So here's the problem, is that Trump has to wait for these people to recommit these crimes. But here's the second part. Okay, so he's only got, what, a year and a half left in order to get these people indicted, arrested, and imprisoned. Well, if he doesn't win the election, those people can be pardoned again. And then they're off scot-free until the next election or whatever, whenever, right? So that's the huge thing. It's like he's got so much on his plate right now. He's got the border. They're using that as a weapon. They're using our medical as a weapon. They're doing anything and everything to weaponize our democracy, our laws against us. This is not against the president. This is against us directly. So that's why I'm so adamant and so passionate about encouraging you to get involved in your local politics, to get involved, because that's where it starts. Because we need to know who our representatives are. We need to know what their intentions are. Just because they're Republican doesn't mean they're good. Look at Mitt Romney. Look at No Name. Look at McCain. They did not have the Americans, their agenda was just totally screwed up. So we have to get louder. We have to help President Trump. It's not about getting him reelected. It's about getting him reelected and standing behind him and with him in order for him to do what he needs to do, because he's getting hit so hard with so many just BS things. It's ridiculous. And, you know, they're going after his son again. They're going after AG Barr. They're doing what they can to try to manipulate the blind and, you know, and trying to take advantage of, like, I mean, California, most of the people here, like, you saw what we did, like, Friday night was supposed to be fun, but it was a little eye-opening for me that the people out here, which was like, that rests on my shoulders because I need to talk to people out here more. YouTube is great. YouTube is wonderful to project our voices, to project the information. And, you know, you guys have become such a vital part of my life. You know, I appreciate every single one of you. Like, history, your knowledge and your gentleness is like just permeates through the screen, and it's like a big gentle hug, and I love it. And, you know, and Disabled Vet, you know, our little banter back and forth, you know, just makes me giggle. And you know, and DM, she's always so supportive of all the channels and trying to bring them all together. And Douchebag, you know, he's I call him Match. I don't like calling him Douchebag. I call him Match because it takes one strike of a match to ignite a bomb. And that's what I feel like he has, because he's the one who kind of brought me to you guys. And Tony, you know, you're a cool dude, man. And, you know, and Angel and Fred and all you guys. I mean, I could just go on and on and on about how amazing Warhorse. You guys are just, we're becoming a family, and it's just, I love you. Sorry, I didn't mean to get.
and a partridge in a pear tree. Dun, dun.
But I just
it's like a song now.
But the urgency is there, and I'm not going to let up, you guys. So just let you know, you come to the show, you're going to get. Hopefully, I can encourage you and inspire you, and just to get out there, because this is our future depends on it. Our democracy depends on it. We've got to get involved. There's a lot of, you guys are content makers too. This is great. This is wonderful. It's a way to get out that information, but it's beyond the views. It's beyond the thumbs up. It's beyond the subscribers. It's beyond that. It's get up out from underneath the camera. Go talk to them. Go get involved. You'd be amazed how open that politicians are to their constituents. It's not hard to get an appointment with them. It's not hard to sit down with them and say, hey, this concerns me. What can I do? And you'd be really surprised at how a lot of them, if you're willing to just give a little effort, they're willing to take it.
This election, this re-election of President Trump in 2020 I think is more important than his first election, because let's just say if Hillary would have won, okay, this would be Hillary going in her third year, going into number 4, and we would have witnessed all her BS going after the Second Amendment, all that, and she wouldn't have made 8 years, because what would have happened is, like, everyone that came out for Trump, it would have been 63 plus million to make sure that she doesn't win, and whoever it could have been after that, then Trump runs and then he went. But anyways, I guess what I'm saying is this election to reelect him is actually probably more important, because she would have only made 4 years. She would have came in like a tornado, like a wrecking ball, and tried to just destroy everything as quickly as possible.
I don't think so. And here's why. I don't think the American people would have legally had voted her in for the second term. But here's the thing. First of all, she wasn't legally voted in for if she would have won, she would only have been able to do 4 years, because she would have never made a second year. Well, they would have done. I mean, look what they're trying to do now. They're trying to make illegal aliens being able to vote. They're trying to make 16-year-old. They would have done those things, and it would have passed, because she would have had Congress. She would have had the Senate. She would have had everybody backing her, and we would have just became another European country. We would have been just like them.
I think what would have happened is everyone at some point would have felt like, because if it really got that bad and everyone saw, okay, they're going after the Second Amendment, then it's going into the First, and then they're flooding with illegals, I think it would have pushed everyone into some sort of civil unrest. I don't think I truly believe you can only push patriots so far. And I mean, guys with monster trucks and, they get, construction workers and so on. You can only push them so far, and then that's it. So I think something would happen.
Elijah. Sorry, Demeanor. I just saw him in here. I just wanted to say hello to him. Unit 3132, Steve. Yeah, those we would have just been another. You got to understand, she's part of the globalist machine. She's part of that machine, and what they're trying to do is to eliminate the middle class globally. This is why the mass immigration is in the Western cultures, is because they want it to be suffocated by the population that's used to being oppressed.
Yeah,
so like, okay, say for the immigration purposes, right? They're letting these people come in. Oh, let them come in, but they're going to have that law hanging over them, like that deportation, all of that stuff hanging over them. So they will always have that fear of being deported or being taken away of their livelihoods or anything like that. And so when you have that type of fear over a mass population, you have control. That's the same thing. Like, I think Medicare for all is a wonderful, amazing thing. Like, I would love that if that was the intentions behind it. But here's the thing, that's not the intentions behind it, because once you have a government controls your food and your medical, they control you. And they already have control. I mean, not our food, but money. They have control of our money already. Now they want control of our medical. And the government has gotten too big. The government, and people need to understand, the government is not over us.
This never ends well. It never ends well for any leader that tries to do that. I mean, history, I mean, honestly, if people want to ignore history, people that are in the place of power, in a seat of power, if they want to ignore history, that's fine. But history shows you can only push the peasants. Okay, I guess we're considered peasants by Nancy Pelosi, and push us so far, and then at that point we feel like we have nothing to lose, because at that point it's gotten to that point. Here's the other thing: is like we have branches of our military. We have the Army. We have the Navy, we have the Marines, Air Force, but there's another, I guess, military out there that no one. Well, I see it. I'm sure other people see it as well. I see it as another military force. You know how many vets are in our country? We're talking millions of vets. Do you think all those vets are going to stand by and let the country be overrun and taken over? No. It won't happen. They will get to a point where they will all get together and storm Washington, D.C. and say, game over. That's it. Yeah.
And that's the thing, they know that, and Elijah just brought up a good point, is that they're using other things to weaponize us. They're using the mass immigration to weaponize us in several different ways. One is the oppressed ideas. Two is the medical. These people that they're letting over, measles is coming back, syphilis, gonorrhea, a lot of these sexually transmitted diseases, and they're Ebola is now at the border. To me, I'm inclined to think that none of that was by accident. I believe that was all by plan, because if you think of how are these immigrants getting to the border in the masses that they are? They're being coached, they're being encouraged, they're being paid. I mean, the amount of money to organize that many people. I mean, we're like, I think at 300,000 people now. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. Don't quote me on that number, but it's a crazy big number. The amount of people who have made it to the southern border since the beginning of this year. It's astronomical.
Yeah, they call that
amount of money that it took to organize and pay. We got porta potties, we have food, transportation, whatever, food, shoes, phones, whatever. Because these people, they're kind of fluffy, and these people aren't starving. So all of that money, if you were to take that money and invest it in their own countries, that money would go so much further. And that's not what they want. They want to take over the Western cultures and get rid of it.
Yeah, the Ebola is called the zombie virus. Because it's the reason why the outbreaks keep happening is because the Ebola virus will get into the soil and it'll lay dormant in soil and shut itself down in hibernation, and then it'll reappear again. So they call it the zombie virus.
Yeah, it's scary, and I think it's time. I'm very much. This was all prophesized. All of this was prophesized. So none of it should be a shock. None of it, but it's time. But we can't give up. We still have to rise up. We still have to hold.
No, I mean we can't give up. I mean, didn't Charity just have a a child?
Yeah, she did. Congratulations, Mama.
Yeah. I mean, well, I mean, Charity, I mean, she went against, she was a rebel. She was going against AOC, AOC's, her, you shouldn't have children anymore. Why are you having children? So Charity was like being the rebel. I'm going to have a child. Sorry, honey. But she just had a child. So, I mean, the thing is like, we have to make sure that our country stays a free country for her newborn, because as it grows up, I mean, do we want to leave the, the thing is we will be looked upon as the spineless cowards that didn't do anything, so these children, these infants that are now will grow up. We need to leave them a free country, and history will show that either we fought or we were cowards and didn't do anything and just watched television and put our feet up on the coffee table and watch television as everything was burning down around us.
Yeah, and it's and I'm going to go back to the other Friday night. That was just so eye-opening to me. Our society has got caught up into things, cheap things from China, and we need to put our ego and our pride away and understand what's at stake. What at stake is our future. What it's at stake is our liberties. And this stuff that's going on right now is not just for Charity's child. This stuff can be taken away with us with the stroke of a pen. With it, if this is the possibility of what could have happened if Hillary would have won.
I'm a cracker too.
First of all, Bill would have been the ambassador to United Nations.
Yeah, he would have been back in the White House. Can you imagine having that mummy full of syphilis back in the White House? Bill syphilis.
She's just an evil, cold-hearted.
I mean, he looks like a corpse now.
Oh, he's not aging well. So he would have been the ambassador to the UN. He would have probably ended up being the Secretary of Defense of the UN. So what would have happened was the mass immigration would have came in. The prices, our stock market would have crashed again. Because if you look at the Federal Reserve kind of puts things into motion. Everything is cyclical. So every time the economy, if you look at the economy and the cycles, it's usually a 10-year cycle. So every time we go through a cycle, the gap between the rich and the poor actually gets smaller and smaller, that the middle class eventually disappears. So if you look at, their model, they want us to be like China and India and to have this oppressive type of mentality. So, I mean, look at California. You got people who have good jobs that are homeless.
Yeah, they're living in RVs.
Yeah. I mean,
Silicon Valley, they're living in RVs because they can't afford to have a place because, I mean, gas is $5 a gallon.
Yeah. I mean, I'm blessed because of certain decisions that I made when I was younger, but, it's just, I got lucky, but all that's gone though. Even though I was blessed, what I've had to endure in California is just criminal. I mean, I don't want to convict her because I do have an idea that would be able to take California back. I mean, it's too long-winded to talk about on this show. I mean, off air, I can tell you, but it's something I've been thinking about for quite a while, and I'm almost certain that it would work, and it would totally just transform California. It wouldn't even take that long. Well, I think it's short and simple, in my opinion. get rid of the illegals. And get
I'm
rid
all,
of
I'm all
Maxine
for
and
having mass deportation. First of all, I've said before me and you ever met, I was telling people years ago, we need to have a moratorium on immigration for at least 10 years. And we need to clean this mess up before we ever let anyone else back in.
Somebody was talking about that today, because I always have like live streams or something playing in the background, and somebody somewhere was
there are some exceptions of,
I think it was in the 50s or 60s, they stopped immigration, or even before that, they stopped immigration for several years.
Well, here in the United States, yeah, they did.
Yeah, and then it was to get the people who have migrated here to assimilate. That's what we need to do, especially like Dearborn and Michigan and
we need
San Diego. And
we need to do simple things like English is the language of the United States.
Yeah, we need to make that
here. End of story. End of story. You need to learn English. This isn't bigoted. Apparently we're supposed to be racist or bigots. Everyone in the chat room that's watching or in the chat room, apparently Chrissy-Ann, myself, Nick, or anybody else that's been on here, apparently we're racist and bigots. If you can, apparently everybody has got to be a crybaby. It's not, listen, it's called the truth. It's called the naked truth. And if speaking the truth has now become some like, oh, you're a bigot. No, I'm speaking the truth. Okay, 1950, I'm speaking the truth. He's speaking the truth. 2019, 21st century, you're speaking the truth. Racist, bigot, racist, bigot, racist, bigot, homophobic, whatever.
Well, and they're the ones, okay, they want to take away our guns because school shootings have increased. Well, you know what? Let's look at the common denominator in all those school shootings. You've taken out prayer, you've taken out God, you've taken out the value of family. And I'm, you know what? I'm a strong, independent woman, and I'm very proud of that. And I'm very determined, and I'm very independent. But I also have old-fashioned values. And when the Roe versus Wade went into effect, and
I'm a fascist as well,
and all of that, and women were encouraged to go to work. And it's really hard, because being in the situation I was in when I was first married, it was nice to be able to stand on my own 2 feet, not to be dependent on a man. But we become a society where a woman has to work, and the woman is not at home raising the kids. And you cannot fight biology. You cannot fight the facts are the facts. And if you want to take God out of the whole scientific fact, women were the ones to get pregnant. They were the ones to bear the children. And we're our temperament and our chemical makeup and our DNA, it just naturally makes us be the ones that are more nurturing, more caring, more, we're the homemakers. And but for me, I'm not going to dispute it on the Bible. I'm going to dispute it on the facts of the Bible, and that we, God made us to be helpmates.
Let's just say, for instance, you were an atheist. Okay. You were someone that's on the fence. Okay. You can't listen. You can't. It's. I always say it's nature's way. You can't lie about the facts, and nature has made it in a way that it is. Women bear children, and of course, so what are they saying? Okay, women get pregnant, they have the child, and then immediately as they have that child, they take the child and they throw it over to the man, and they go, okay, I'm going to go out hunting now. It's ridiculous. She has to nurse the child, and there's listen, if you want to ignore how nature has intended it, now listen, I'm not talking about, as the children grow up, the woman is just some slave, some house slave. Almost most men don't think that way anyways. You have some men that are complete, I'll say penis.
A
You know, we have some men that are chauvinist, you know, a-holes. Okay. But most men aren't like that. But they try to make it seem like most men are chauvinist a-holes. You know, Hollywood has been brainwashing people to think another way.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I mean, and that's the thing. It's been this evolving programming that we've gotten through the entertainment industry. And, you know, you got to think about they've slowly have attacked our morals. They've slowly have attacked our integrity. You know, you put something on there so much, people become desensitized by it. I mean, look at the video games now, you know, that's constantly killing. And, you know, people are now killing just for the fun of it, you know, you know, and the sexual, I mean, sex is forced down our kids' throats. I mean, and now it's to the point where they're indoctrinating our kids from kindergarten, you know, and now they want to indoctrinate our kids even like hardcore in the universities. And you know, they're talking about, you know, pedophilia is a, you know, is okay, and they want to talk about, they're teaching about sexual stimulation in infancy. This stuff is not to liberate or to free anybody. When God gave us rules and he set down, these weren't things to make us suffer. These weren't things to hurt us or to hold us back from having fun or having a good life. He gave us these rules to guide us to, you know, if you don't do these things, things will happen to you. And you know, it's and the proof is what we are seeing right now. This is our country. The families are broken. People are miserable. You know, we're so sucked into our devices and, you know, just cold and, you know,
Yeah, I have all kinds of crazy ideas. I lay in, sometimes I don't even sleep because my brain won't shut off. And I come up with all kinds of crazy ideas. And then I start to realize that you probably hear me wheezing. I'm an asthmatic. But not so. Now that I think about a lot of it, I don't think it's that crazy. For instance, one of the things they came up with was, you know, Amish communities. Everyone knows an Amish community. I grew up in Pennsylvania, and I grew up eating food off of Amish farms and Mennonites. Warhorse is up in the East Coast, so he knows more than likely what I'm talking about here. So an Amish community, if you think about it, they have shunned, you know, cell phones and everything. They call us the English, but you know, they have a horse and carriage. They grow all their own food. Now, I don't agree with, you know, everything in the Amish community. There's some things I think are just extreme, like they don't have pictures of themselves. And I know that some Amish, especially some of the younger Amish people, have regret because they would like to see themselves as a baby and stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure mirrors. But anyways, if you were to take an Amish community and then modernize it a little bit, meaning that, let's just say you came up with an idea where the idea was based on people are they have their own home. Okay. We all have our own homes, but it's an Amish community based, but it's modernized, meaning that, we listen to music and have electricity and stuff like that and cars. But I almost think like we would have to revert to something like that in order to completely get rid of this nonsense with the left.
Well, the left, the deeper I've gone into, because I mean, I looked at politics at a surface level, you know, the here and now. But once I started digging and I started looking into, you know, I was talking about the situation one time online about the
Amish mafia is fake. It was totally fake. So don't. Anyways, go on.
I was, as I was digging into it, I was talking to this one gentleman. I think he was from Switzerland, and we were talking about the Syrian. I'm very much against the Syrian regime. Bashar al-Assad. I would have a hard time being in the same room with him without trying to throw something or do something to him. And so him and I were discussing it, and we didn't agree, but he was cool. Like, I love talking to people who have a difference of opinion, but are still really respectful and kind and stuff like that. Because, there's a lot like out there like that. So him and I didn't agree on it, but this is the cool part. This is why I love talking to people that I don't agree with, because I was very much a Bush supporter. And he's like, no, because this and this has happened. And I'm open-minded to people, and I'm okay saying I'm wrong. I believe this because of A, B, and C, but there could be more to A, B, and C than I know. So, I'm very open-minded when I have an opinion that, it's based on the limited information I have. So he's like, no, you need to look into this and this and this. So I did. And I looked into the Bush administration. I looked into the Bush family. Preston Bush was not a good person. And this is the father of the first George Bush. And I actually met George Bush Sr. I met him at the beach, which is a really weird story. But anyways.
Oh, did he do a David Copperfield move on you?
No. He just like wanted to come to the beach, and it was really funny because I see like a long line of like ambulances and a long line of cops, and I'm thinking, did somebody get eaten by a shark?
That's because he was Dracula.
Well, then I get the next thing I know, I'm surrounded by a crowd, and here's this and I was only 13 at the time, 12 or 13, and here was this short. Now I'm about 5'7", a little over 5'7". So here's this short, stubby Secret Service lady pushing me out of the way. And the next thing I know, I'm standing in front of him, and I'm just like, oh my gosh. And I shook it. He stuck his hand out to me, and I was like, I shook it. And I go, I don't like broccoli either. That was like my very profound thing that I told the president. But, give me a break. I was only like 13 at the time. So
yeah, Barbara Bush was no pleasant person to be around.
No, the rumors about her are pretty wicked.
Yeah, she was a drunk. A lot of people. People, it's like, look at her face. Look how she aged. She was a drunk.
Mm-hmm. Well, her family supposedly has ties to some pretty wicked people too that are really close to the globalists, like Soros and all that kind of stuff. But Preston, he was pretty sinister in the things that he's done. So I mean, he's if you guys want a good read or good Google search, Google the Bush family. It's
I think most of us now, I've known about them for quite a long time. I think most of us now know the inside baseball in that family, and McCain and the rest of the so-called, I guess what the left doesn't understand is like a lot of us Trump supporters, or what do you want to call it, Trump, whatever. We don't, there's a lot of Republicans we don't like. Mm-hmm. We don't like them because they're a bunch of phonies. They're a bunch of gutless, empty suits. Feckless, they're feckless, and it's like, you know what? Get out of office. Let somebody come in that's going to, make things happen.
Yeah, it's well, and here's the thing: I'm independent. I'm very conservative in my.
Yeah, I'm a registered Republican. I tell people right to the face. So I'm a rock and roll Republican.
But here's the thing: this is not about politics anymore. This is not about, what do we. It's not about that. It's about good versus evil at this point. And when you have like Nancy Pelosi saying the things, when she's just recently taken, there's a plaque above Congress that says "In God We Trust." She had that removed, and so when you're taking, we're a Christian Judeo country, and
she's
our
gutless.
laws.
She's gutless. That's why.
She's gutless. She's drunken with delusions of grandeur. She's like if you watched her when they were having that little toe to toe about the border and closing down the funding for the wall, she was wearing a scepter on her for a few days. It wasn't just one outfit, and that's what she was wearing. She was wearing this golden scepter on her lapel, and I just thought, how blatant and how arrogant can you get? Do you think that we're blind and we don't see this little
maybe she's
game you're playing?
Maybe she's just a Dungeon and Dragons nerd.
I doubt it. She's too drunk to figure that one out.
She's gutless. As the Democratic Party has gone so far left, I mean, to the edge and over, the Democratic Party doesn't exist any longer. We all need to realize it, and we shouldn't even call it that any longer. We should just call it for what it is. The leftist fascists. They're called left-wing fascists. That's what I call it. I know a guy who was in a punk rock band in Virginia a long time ago, and it was called the left-wing fascists because they were a punk rock band that was talking about the Democratic Party and how they were susceptible to becoming what they are now. And that was years ago, man. That was years ago. So they call themselves the left-wing fascists. That's what they are. They're left-wing fascists. It's not a Democratic Party anymore.
No. Yeah, Steve, he says, Chelsea Clinton tweeted Happy New Year's to the freaking Church of Satan. Yeah, she tweets that and she goes, oh, we're just, all religions are welcome. And okay, yeah, let's find out what Satan's about. All right. And then she's constantly wearing an upside down cross on top of that. Steve, I don't know if you know this, but her and Chelsea Clinton and I went toe to toe on Twitter. And I won.
Was she really wearing an upside down crucifix?
It was a cross. It wasn't a crucifix, but it was a cross.
Yeah, people are, I'm since I've been in heavy metal for years and bands and all that touring and all this nonsense, and I know people that are actual real Satanists because I'm not going to give out names. I know these people on a personal basis. I haven't seen him it's him. I haven't seen him in a while. He's still in the music business. And, and I know all the people all the minions that would like groupies and stuff and minions that would hang around and all that because, we're playing all these different shows. And they were all trying to be, demonic or something. And I would laugh. I would laugh at them because I found it comical. I'm like, you're a clown. I'm like, you're not that evil. I'm like, there are some people that are that evil and we know who they are.
Well,
Ted Bundy. But I would say, you're not that evil. And let me give you an example why you're not. I would say, okay, do you have, your girlfriend or your mother or your child or whatever, they're, on their become, I don't want to jinx anybody, but they would become sick, ill, or something like that. So when they're on their deathbed and you're hanging, what do you say to them when they're on their deathbed, when you're holding their hand? Do you say, I can't wait to see you in the pits of hell, burning in the pits of hell for eternity? Is that what you're saying to them? I don't think you're saying that to them. You're not saying that. So you're not that evil. So quit it. You look like a clown.
Well,
that's what I would say.
I think what the more the evilest people are like people like Ariana Grande or Katy Perry. And I think what they're doing to young women and the younger generation is they're making,
especially Katy Perry, yeah.
They're making things that are so perverted acceptable, and they're making, like Ariana Grande, her song about, God's a woman, and it's just so. I mean, they're making it cute to be to be blasphemous and to say such horrible things about. And then this other, I can't remember her name, but her music is really catchy. It's really like, I like the music, but if you listen to the words are just so demonic. It's so oppressive and so
these people, you know, I mean, first of all, Katie and Grande, they have somebody else writing their music for them. They're a bunch of no talent hacks.
well,
I mean,
it's all a possession. To me, it's a possession. It's that they've sold their soul out. And I really believe that they know what they're doing. They're well
sure,
aware
some
of
of
what they're
them,
doing.
yeah.
And
Sure,
I believe
some of them.
Katy Perry and Ariana Grande know exactly what they're doing. And they're so their pride, their ego, their greed has won them over to
They will
basically
never
sell
have
themselves out.
they will never have longevity.
Mm-mm.
They will never. They're having their moment, and it's going to fizzle out. They're never going to have longevity. They're never going to be like AC/DC or whatever. These guys are just a bunch of rock and roll dudes from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's it. There's nothing else. Some people are like, oh, because he had some, you know, imagery with devil horns and stuff. That's all hokey crap. Believe me.
Yeah.
We're talking. You're right. Katy Perry. She, you know, those type of artists are really just. Well, they suck. First of all, they suck. Their music sucks. They're a bunch of no talent hacks. Everyone does everything for them. They don't write the music. They show up into the recording studio. I know how it's done. I've been in this business too long. They go into the recording studio. They show up. They do their parts. They do their parts as best they can. And then the engineers, they're sitting there all night and do everything. They just show up for a few hours, do their lines, and leave. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they're just a bunch of hacks. They have no longevity. They're going to fizzle out. Yeah, I mean, you know, Katy Perry, especially, I would, all the artists that you've mentioned, I'd say she's probably the worst one of them all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I don't like her. She's just, they pervert the innocence. That's what they're doing. That's, you know, what they've done. So, but
yeah, it's like, why can't she or any of those artists just write a good song, a good rock and roll song, just a good song? Why does it have to go down this path of like this demonic path of elicit this and elicit that and elicit this and elicit that? What's the reason for that? I mean, they think, oh, I'm not going to be successful. I'm not going to be successful if I don't.
Yeah, Steve brought up a thing. Anybody associated with Marina Abramovich is a freak. Yeah, that's including like
these
Lady
people,
Gaga.
like,
they have pictures of them eating a person.
Yeah,
like, and they're bathed in blood. That.
Yeah, I know what you're talking. These, I mean, this stuff to me, like Brockovich, these people don't scare me or intimidate one bit because like I say, I've played with all these heavy metal bands, all the dark ones, the more demonic ones. I know them. I've played with them. I know these people. Believe me, a lot of them are just clowns. You know, it's just an image thing for them. They're clowns, and
here's
some
the thing,
believe
though.
some of that.
Whether they believe it or not, they're projecting it. And that's the problem, because these kids who idolize these clowns, whether they believe it or not, like if they believe, you know, they're sending a message that is demonic. That's the problem, because Satan works in all kinds of ways and he will use anything and everything. So maybe the person is so shut off to the spiritual aspect of it, but doesn't mean that there's not a spiritual entity that is not attached to it, that is working at the hearts and minds of our youth. That's the problem. That's the problem when you have a message.
Yeah, like I say,
your message may not have the intentions of being evil, may not have the intentions of being, it's just to for show or whatever. But when that message is perceived, it can lead somebody in the wrong way.
I'll give you a perfect example. Do you know who Ghost is?
Yes.
Ghost?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What's that?
New person on scene?
No, Ghost, the heavy metal band.
No, I don't.
All right. It's a band called Ghost, and they're popular. They're a heavy metal band, and their whole thing is a satanic slant. Mm-hmm. But everybody knows it's a show. It's a Broadway show. Everyone, it's good. It's like a story. It's like it's almost like a soap opera, and it's actually the band is actually done like a soap opera with changing out singers and stuff, and everyone, including myself, we all know it's a show. It's just it's hokey. It's a show. Now, Katy Perry, on the other hand, like I say, I think she's the most dangerous out of them all because we go in, we know it's a show, and even the band, they're like, it's just a show. We all know it's a show. We're not stupid. But Katy Perry, when she sucked in 9-year-olds, okay, 8-year-olds and 9-year-olds, like what's her name, Miley Cyrus, okay.
Well, that's another one.
So they sucked in these little kids. Now, for me, and everybody else, and some of these other, I can name other bands that have kind of a evil slant to it. We all know it's a show, and that these guys really are it's a show. They're playing the music, and it's almost like going into a haunted house kind of a thing, you know?
Good night, DM. Sweet dreams.
And, but when you get into artists like Miley Cyrus or Katy Perry, where they're sucking in these little kids, and then all of a sudden they do a switcheroo after they've sucked them in, I think there's the danger.
Yeah, well, yeah, because they're again, you know, they're perverting the innocence. They're
Melvins,
they're teaching them that things that are okay that are not okay. You know, like abortion, you know, perverting their sexuality and turning it into some cheap, meaningless thing that to just get your rocks off, and you know, it's no big deal. Just feel good about yourself. And you know, all these people and I have nothing against somebody with different ideas or whatever you do is your business. I love you, and you know, I pray for you. But here's the thing, I have a lot of friends in the LGBT community. Not one of them is happy. I mean, it is hard to be happy in today's society.
Well, I'm sure that they don't.
People are just they have a bitterness about them, and
I'm sure that they don't. I'm sure they're not happy with the P trying to be pushed in there.
Yeah.
I can't imagine. I'm like, oh yeah, pedophilia, throw it in there. That's fine. I mean, honestly, they got to be like, I don't understand why more gay people don't push back on this stuff. What are they afraid of?
I think a lot of them are. Like I have a lot of friends who are in it, and they're just they're not afraid. They've become complacent too. I mean, it's just our society is very complacent. Our society, the ones who are making the biggest noise right now, it's like this. I was listening to the story about there was a funeral home, and they've been a funeral home director or business for a very long time. It was generational, and they had somebody working with them, and they had a very strict dress code. You know, men are to wear suit and ties, and it's to be black, and they provide it for them, and women are to wear black dresses or skirts, right? So this guy was transitioning, and he wanted to wear the dress and skirt, and they said, no, this is, you know, we're thinking that don't turn this into a political movement. This is a funeral home, and we want to be respectful of the families. And so the guy refused to wear the dress code, so they let him go. They even offered him a nice severance package. So he ended up suing him. And so these people are in they're in a lawsuit for the last 6 years. And it's just like with the cake guy. But, you know, and that's the crazy part, is like Christians and Jews are being attacked. But if I want a gay person to go into a Mediterranean restaurant and ask them to cater their wedding, see what happens.
Yeah, go to some far lefty big mouths. Go to Dearborn, Michigan, and go into one of their delis and try that.
Yeah. So anyways, but our hour is up. We got deep tonight. We got really deep. We didn't get goofy tonight.
No, I kept trying to find some comedy, but I kept more and more. I kept getting pissed off. I'm like,
that's what happened when we don't have Nick. He breaks things up for us. But yeah, a lot of people I didn't get to say goodnight to, but DM, I think she went to bed. Good night, DM. Thank you for all your drops, your pay links, or the links to our PayPal. You guys, this channel is taking off. We need your support. Where's it going? Though. It is leaving California. That's where this channel is going. This channel is going to go to Texas until I get things organized and straightened up. And so I'm going to be hitting the road.
But I think we should do the show when we travel. We should do it in a hot air balloon.
Oh, I would do that. Oh, heck yeah.
We should. No, I mean one of the fantasy type movies that were made like 40 years ago, where it was a big, crazy, colorful hot air balloon, and like the wicker basket was like the size of a house, and it was in the shape of like a whale or something. And we're like floating around the United States.
Whoever picks me for a dare me to go in a hot air balloon, I'll do it.
That's not a dare. That's not having a good time. No, a dare is supposed to be where you have butterflies in your stomach. You're like, oh man, I don't know if I'm on the edge here. I don't know if I'm going to do this.
Oh, maybe you guys can get the operator to rock the basket or something.
I mean, I still not sure what my dare is. I'm still not quite sure what it is yet.
But anyway, so if you guys can donate, that would be really good, because we are going to be hitting the road. We are going to be hitting other content makers, other patriot businesses, so we can give exposure and help support each other. So that's my goal. So if you guys can help, a little bit goes a long way with us. And I just want to again thank you guys for all your support and love. It's been a journey that has been really amazing. And especially in the last few months, I've gotten to know a lot of you guys, and our group is getting bigger, and our group is just getting full of more love and some more, just the personalities and the creativity and the knowledge and the love is just amazing. And I love you guys all, and I appreciate you. I'm getting all teary-eyed right now, but anyways, I love you guys. And so any support would be wonderful. And go to my website. Go to my website, subscribe to my website, so I can shoot you guys emails. We can give you updates on where we're going, what we're going to do next, because there are some things in the works right now, which I'm really, 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 really excited. So your support is going to help facilitate that. And it's one of the projects we are working on. I can only give you a little bit of information, but it's to protect the patriot content makers. So I'm working on a project with some really great guys, very smart, impressive guys. And so we're working on things to make sure that any content maker, whether they are small or big, that they're going to be protected. So all of that stuff is going to be on our tour. And so we're going to be making a schedule here soon. So hopefully, if I'm in your area, we could meet up. I want to at least, hit some certain places and have coffee with you guys. Even if it's one or two of you, we will make things happen, and we'll find out what's going on in your neighborhood and see if there's any crazy laws that we need to bring attention to your representatives. But that's where all of that stuff is going to go towards. So $1, $2, $1 million, all of that stuff would really, really help. And I really appreciate it. We have great merchandise, but too, your love and support means so much to me. So if you guys can't donate in that way, the thumbs up, the subscriptions, sharing these videos will really, really help this movement. So I appreciate you guys. And you guys rock.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's 1:06 my time on the East Coast. We'd like to thank you for joining in, as always. Believe me, there'll be some sort of levity and comedy tomorrow. We'll find it, if we even have to pull it out of a rear end. Hit that thumbs up button, subscribe, and please, if you can, please donate till it hurts, because we got to buy this hot air balloon.
No, we're not buying hot air balloon.
All right. Tomorrow night it is. We're out for now. Good night.
Good night. Love you guys. And thank you to all my mods who are dropping it like it's hot. Night night. And happy Mother's Day. Tell your mom.